There are a ton of experts that advocate for different systems that will help us be healthy, fit, productive, learn anything. And these experts, what they're trying to get us to do is create productivity systems. It could be a second brains, it could be a note-taking app, it could be something that helps us keep track of things. But the fact is that humans are messy, and that messiness has served us fairly well throughout the ages. And I would argue if we actually want to become rich, happy, and successful, that it's not only possible without behaving like robots, it's actually necessary. So let's talk about productivity systems, what they are good for, but also when you should stay as far away from them as possible. Let's dive into that. There are many benefits to using different productivity systems. They can tell us what to do, when to do it, who to do it with, and what standards of quality mean, and how we can define that something has been done well. So there are definitely use cases where you need a productivity system in order to achieve what it is you've set out to do. For example, I love this system that I'm showing here on the screen that I'm gotten from my personal favorite productivity guru, Ali Abdaal. And it is full of neat little tricks and ways to keep track of videos, how they're progressing, editing, writing scripts, all the things that I need to do in order to create a video. I could not do that without this system. Similarly, I have a system at work which helps me keep track of the backlog and the different things that I need to do at work in order to create wonderful applications together with my team of developers. Without a system, I couldn't do that. But then there comes other things, like coming up with video ideas or ideas for courses, or features at my work that I want to add to my product. There is a balance between having systems with great rules and templates that help us organize things, and letting the messy chaos of being human get enough space in order to be able to do these things that requires more of humanity and creativity. We want to allow messiness to create the conditions that allow for humanity to happen in between the structure, rules, and template. At first glance, it might seem like in order to achieve maximum productivity, we should be doing a lot of system and then a little bit of the human stuff. So just so we get a good balance. But that is actually not always the case. There's a great example in a book that I just read. In it, Tim Harefords discusses 2 ways that you can organize the papers that you have on your desk. And I see a lot of parallels with these productivity systems where you need to organize all your thoughts and ideas into neat subfolders in order to make it work. In the first desk, let's call the owner of that desk Bob. He's very structured and he organizes everything he creates and everything he receives by topic and date. The other desk is owned by, let's call her Susan. She has a different approach. She comes to work every day and then she starts working on the top thing in her pile. Then when she needs some information, she looks through the pile and she pulls out whatever it is she needs. It works with it, and then she puts it on top of the pile. And she continues to do that. She takes out something from the pile and then she puts it on the top when she's done. At the end of the month, she takes the bottom part of the pile and she just throws it in the garbage. And at first glance, Bob might be coming out on top here. He has a super well-organized system and should be able to find anything. By contrast, Susan just has a pile of papers on her desk. But there is a catch. When researchers from AT&T looked at real-world examples of Bob and Susan, they found something interesting. They were really surprised when they found that the structured Bobs of the world were filling their archives with irrelevant information that they rarely accessed, and it was very hard for them to navigate through these enormous archives that they had been building for years. Also, almost half of the information in the archives was just publicly available information that they could reasonably access from anywhere, so they didn't need to save a copy of it. The researchers were genuinely surprised. They thought that people would save things that were of value to them, that they would have some use for later. But they found that instead of archiving things that were important, they were more archiving everything so that they could clean their desk and have a neat, clean desk at the end of the day. The Susans, or the pilers of the world, had 2 distinct advantages compared to the filers. Because they were constantly taking out something that they needed to use from the pile and putting it on top, they had very easy access to the most important information because they could just look high up in the pile and reasonably they could assume that it was there somewhere and they could find it fairly quickly actually. Also, they tended to have way smaller archives with only tiny bits of information stored for a longer period of time compared to the filers, also making it easier to find. And by piling all your information on your desk might not be the ideal solution to organize your information, this story tells us something interesting, and it tells us that we shouldn't be too concerned with the productivity of someone that is messy, given the time that the filers took to actually organize their system. And we have largely moved past the need for archiving paper information. We have our computers, our laptops, our hard drives, our desktops, but we can still see the digital equivalent of piling or filing your stuff in people's computers today. If you take a look at my desktop, and I guess I can just show you here, you can definitely see that I'm more of a piler person. What I tend to do is I tend to work on things, and then I go into my desktop folder and I look at the top things, and that's normally the things that I've been working on lately. Then every 2 or 3 months I look through the files, I take out anything that I think I will be saving, and then I just throw it all away. Just delete everything on my desktop and my downloads folder, and I restart that cycle again. So while I'm more of a piler than a filer, there's a hybrid thing going on where I feel like I'm spending very little time organizing the stuff and a lot of time working on the things that I want to be working on. We see this tendency from influencers to bring up productivity systems for anything and everything in your life, where you should organize your calendar a certain way, or you should be blocking off every single minute of your day for different tasks, where you have second brains that will capture all the things that you read and think in a day, where you can then access everything easily and quickly, or even just something as simple as taking notes. The thing is that working too strictly with any of these systems will take a lot of time and will probably influence your productivity negatively. It will definitely take away time from your creativity and also your happiness. I think there's a lot of value to just letting yourself be a little bit messy. We are drawn to the systematic and organized as a way of feeling that we're in control and that we can be productive more of the time. But the thing is that the messiness is actually a part of many people's creativity. I'm not saying this is perfect for all, but I think we as more messy people should be okay with not being able to systematize everything. Instead of segmenting your day in your calendar for 30 minutes of preparation for work and then 1 hour to do the most important task and then moving down the list, instead just block off half a day and work on the things that come to you. You don't have to plan everything. There's some real value in just letting the messiness and a little bit of chaos come to you. What if we spend less time organizing our files and more time working on the things we want to achieve, to learn more, build more, do more, exercise more, be happier? And I think there's some real value to that. Then we can take the time to identify the places, often for me, team exercises, where we as a group need to align on what it is we're doing and how everyone should be working in order to get the things done that we need to have done. For me at least, I tend to find that the most important thing, the thing that I should be working on, is on the top of the pile at my desk. If you're interested in more of my stuff, check this out. If you're interested in my courses, go to Skillshare.